So we've got some pretty big claims about Apple's first foldable iPhone, and depending on how long you've been following Apple, this could end up being one of those rare moments where the entire product line genuinely shifts direction. Because according to Bloomberg's Mark Gurman, Apple's foldable iPhone isn't just another experimental side project, he's calling it the most significant overhaul in iPhone history. And that's a bold statement when you consider what came before. The iPhone 4 completely changed the design language, the iPhone 6 brought in bigger displays for the masses, and the iPhone 10 basically redefined what an iPhone even looked like. But this foldable goes even further. Now before we get into all that, quick favour, if you want the latest Apple news straight to your feeds, hit subscribe and tap the hype button. Right, so let's talk about what Apple's actually building here. The current expectation is that this foldable iPhone, which could be called iPhone Ultra, is going to be opening like a book, very similar to something like the Galaxy Z Fold 7. So instead of flipping vertically like those nostalgic flip phones, you're getting a device that transforms from a normal sized phone into something much closer to a mini tablet. And that's where things get interesting, because the report suggests a roughly 5.3-inch outer panel, which is what you'd use day to day for quick messaging, scrolling, that sort of thing, but then you can unfold it and you're getting a 7.7-inch to 7.8-inch inner display. That's basically iPad mini territory. So you've got this hybrid device that sits somewhere between an iPhone and an iPad, and Apple's clearly leaning into this idea. In fact, this is where software becomes just as important as hardware. We're expecting iOS 27 to be heavily optimized for this foldable form factor, with proper side-by-side apps, improved multitasking, and more iPad-like behavior. And honestly, this is where Apple could genuinely outdo a lot of existing foldables. Because right now, hardware-wise, foldables are impressive, but developers sometimes don't optimize their apps for the platform. But with Apple, because they release so few devices, developers are more incentivized to adapt to whatever new form factor they release. Now, one of the biggest talking points with any foldable is the crease. You know, that line in the middle of the display that reminds you this thing literally folds in half. Early rumors suggested Apple would basically solve this and made it crease-free. But now more recent reports are walking back slightly. So instead of eliminating the crease entirely, Apple's focusing on reducing as much as possible. And the way they're doing this is actually pretty clever. According to leaks, Apple's working on a layered display structure using ultra-thin glass, sometimes referred to as UTG or UFG. Instead of relying on a single flexible layer like most current foldables, Apple's reportedly using multiple layers of glass stacked together with the actual display sandwiched between them. The idea here is to spread the stress when the device folds, rather than concentrating it on one point. It's also suggested that Apple is experimenting with variable thickness glass, thinner at the fold for flexibility, thicker elsewhere for durability. Now, durability is really going to be the big question mark for this device. Foldables have improved a lot over the years, but they're still not quite at the same level as a standard slab device, and Apple knows this, which is why there are rumors about a liquid metal hinge system being used here, designed to improve strength and longevity. Because let's be real, if Apple launches a $2,000 phone that starts creaking after a year, the internet is not going to be kind. Speaking of price, yeah, this is where things could get wild. Current estimates suggest this foldable iPhone is going to start at $2,000 in the US, and knowing Apple in the UK, that's probably going to be £2,000, which is more expensive than the US. And do remember the price can go up depending on the storage tier. There are even reports saying that Apple is going to push the price closer to $2,500. So yeah, this is not replacing a standard iPhone. This is sitting above the Pro models as a sort of ultra premium option, which raises an interesting question. Who is actually going to be buying this? Because at this price, I'm very sure that early adopters are only going to be buying this, people who want the newest tech, people who are curious about foldables, and honestly, people who just want something different and are an Apple sheep and want the latest and greatest. It's not going to be your mass market iPhone, at least not yet, but let's hope Apple has enough demand to make the tech more accessible with future versions of the Fold. Now, in terms of cameras, the leaks suggest a relatively simple setup by Apple standards. 2 rear cameras, 1 front camera, and interestingly, a Touch ID power button instead of Face ID. And I can already see the comments, how dare they give us no Face ID on a $2,000 iPhone? But when you think about it, it does kind of make sense. Face ID relies on a pretty complex sensor system, and integrating that into a foldable design, especially one with ultra-thin displays, is not going to be easy. A Touch ID button is simpler, more reliable in this form factor, and honestly probably more practical when you're using the device in different orientations. Still, it does feel like a bit of a throwback considering most iPhones today don't have Touch ID. Now, timing wise, things are a bit unclear. The expectation is that Apple is going to unveil this foldable alongside the iPhone 18 Pro and Pro Max, likely around September, but shipping could be delayed, with some analysts suggesting it might not actually release until December. And well, that's not really surprising, guys. This is a completely new category for Apple. It's not just another iPhone iteration, so a staggered release or even limited availability at launch feels very likely. We've seen that happen with big launches like the iPhone X, that launched to the public in November, I believe, and stock initially was very constrained, so yeah, don't expect the iPhone Fold to be widely available. Now, going back to Gurman's claim about this being the biggest overhaul in iPhone history, do I agree? Mostly yes. Because when you look at past big iPhone moments, they were still fundamentally the same type of device, just improved. This, on the other hand, changes how you use a phone entirely. It introduces new use cases, new behaviors, and potentially even new expectations for what an iPhone could be. But at the same time, there are plenty of risks here, because foldables still have not fully proven themselves in the mainstream. Galaxy Folds have always been very expensive. They're getting there, but they're not quite at that everyone should buy them stage just yet, and Apple entering the space doesn't automatically generate success. We've seen Apple take their time before, like with larger screens, widgets, even things like the always-on display. They wait, they refine, and then they try to do it in a way that feels complete. So the big question is whether they've waited long enough. And more importantly, whether this actually feels like an iPhone when you use it, because that's the thing Apple tends to get right. It's not just about specs or form factors, it's about the experience. If the foldable feels like a natural extension of the iPhone rather than just a gimmick, then yeah, this could be huge. But if it feels awkward, fragile, or just unnecessarily expensive, then it can end up being one of those interesting experiments that doesn't really go anywhere. Something like the Vision Pro. Personally though, I think the biggest factor here is going to be the software. If iOS 27 truly takes advantage of that larger display, proper multitasking, smooth transitions between folded and unfolded states, then this could potentially replace both your iPhone and your small tablet. And that's a pretty compelling idea. But if it's just iOS stretched across a bigger screen, then yeah, it's just going to feel like a missed opportunity. And Apple doesn't usually miss on software when they commit to something new. We've just got to hope it's not a buggy mess, because that's been the issue with Apple software recently. It's not been very stable, so hopefully that's not the case with iOS 27. And yeah, ultimately we just have to see if there's enough demand for this foldable amongst the masses. So overall, this foldable iPhone is shaping up to be one of the most interesting Apple products we've seen in years. It's ambitious, it's expensive, and it's definitely not for everyone, but it could also be the start of something much bigger for the iPhone range. We're still months away from anything official, and as always with Apple, plans can change, specs can shift, features can be delayed, and pricing can, well, probably go up if anything. But one thing's for sure, all eyes are going to be on this, and if Apple gets it right, we could be looking at the beginning of the next major chapter for the iPhone. And seriously, that's not hyperbole. So if you want to stay up to date with all the latest leaks, breakdowns, and honest takes on whether this thing's actually going to be worth it, make sure you subscribe and tap the hype button. It really does help the channel grow, and I've got a lot more coming on this as we get closer to launch. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.